Hey there guys, I want to talk a little bit about David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy, for better or worse. There's been a lot of different directors' take on the shape, and David's interpretation of the story has definitely divided fans. His first entry came in 2018, 40 years after John Carpenter and Deborah Hill's classic that inspired many slashers to come after its release. David and writer Danny McBride retconned everything that had taken place in the Halloween films apart from John Carpenter's 1978 beloved classic. Laurie Strode survives Michael's brutal attack on her, which her friends were killed, and Michael got captured. He got taken to a mental institute. Laurie lives alone now, preparing for the day Michael escapes and comes after her again, and that's what happens. I really enjoyed seeing this one at the cinema. Thought the way the story was set up for Michael escaping and getting used to killing again was great. There's an amazing one shot of Michael going through different houses, killing people. It was exciting to see. Laurie's paranoia has created tension with her daughter Karen, played by Judy Greer, and has an effect on her daughter Alison, played by Andy Mechek. I like the new characters introduced, and there's some good interaction throughout. "You gon' die, Dave" was the best line of the film. "I know jiu-jitsu" was a close second. Turns out it wasn't enough. It felt like Halloween was back to how it was. John Carpenter built up the suspense so well in the original, and David Gordon Green seemed to take note. The 2018 version had more violence and gore though. There were some great deaths in it. My favourite involved the motion lights. That was so well edited, and the new scores created by John Carpenter himself for this film were brilliant. Halloween 2018 is a 7 out of 10 for me. Nowhere near on a level as the original, but had a lot of great things going for it, and I liked what it was setting up. The acting was really good. James Jude Courtney taking over the shape was the highlight of the film. He looked fantastic, and his physicality was really good. Some of the writing was bad in places, and the Dr. Sartain arc was poorly done and rushed. The film was received pretty well. It made $259 million on a budget of just $10 million, which is incredible to do a good film like this on $10 million budget. It had great production value and effects. It also received a 79% on Rotten Tomatoes, with an audience score of 72%. Set in the same night, Halloween Kills sees Laurie, Karen and Alison fleeing after they've trapped Michael in the basement that is now on fire. Michael isn't dead though, and tears right through a dozen firefighters. This second parter is a much different film, focusing more on slasher kills, less on suspense, and I didn't mind it really. Everyone knew going in that it was the middle film, so there was going to be a bit more filler, and it did its job for the most part. Evil Dies Tonight kind of ruined this film. It's a bit hard to take it seriously when over 50 people are chanting it consistently throughout the film, and causes the death of a man who looks nothing like Michael Myers. The mob mentality is a massive part of the story. It was a great setup, but it wasn't well executed. Michael Anthony Hall was cast as Tommy Doyle. I was really looking forward to seeing him, but he was just unhinged in this film, and the baseball bat was useless against Michael. Someone should have really told him that. Halloween Kills features the best Michael Myers in any film, in my opinion. The shape is such a force in this film. He's unbelievably strong, determined and brutal. It's just a shame that the film is hit and miss. They recreated Haddonfield 1978 for the beginning part, which looked incredible. I loved that sequence from the look of Michael to what happens to. I'm going to give Halloween Kills a 7 out of 10 as well. It's a fantastic slasher flick, however elements of the story, including Evil Dies Tonight, spoils the fun, a bit overkill. This film was received not as well, only getting a 39% on Rotten Tomatoes, but had an audience score of 66%. It also made $133 million on a budget of $20 million. Halloween Ends promised to be the final swan song between Michael and Laurie. 44 years in the making, so what did they do? Make a new character the focus. Corey, played by Rowan Campbell, accidentally kills a kid at the start of the film, and then Michael transfers his power into him when he stumbles across where he's been living. This isn't the way they should have approached the end of the trilogy, which had so much history and fandom. This idea annoyed a lot of people, me included. Michael having an apprentice like he's some sort of Jedi Master didn't feel right at all. They're going around together and Michael's showing him how it's done. There was a lot of discussion of what they were going to do for the final film. COVID was originally supposed to play a part, and would explain why Michael's been in hiding for a few years. I'm glad they scrapped that idea as to why would Michael care about staying at home. The way I thought they was going to go about it was Alison learning how to shoot and fight alongside Laura and try to find out where Michael is. Alison has the motive for wanting to do this. Michael murdered her dad, boyfriend and mum all in one night, so getting her revenge would make more sense for the story. I don't mind that Michael is a little bit weaker, but being overpowered by someone who gets bullied by band kids was a bizarre choice. Halloween Ends is slow paced, unengaging and has bad new characters and wastes returning characters like Officer Hawkins, played by Will Patton. He claimed he had to be the one to kill Michael because he couldn't shoot him in 1978, which caused the death of his partner. He obviously wouldn't have been able to do anything because Michael was an absolute unit in Halloween Kills. However, Hawkins doesn't spend a single scene with Michael in Halloween Kills or Ends. Also, Carl Richards was barely in the film as Lindsay Wallace due to scheduling conflicts, so her potential showdown with Michael 44 years in the making didn't happen either. Corey would have been a good character to introduce, but not as a lead character, which was advertised as the final showdown between two of horror's most iconic characters. Corey wasn't even in any of the posters released before the film, so it felt like it misled viewers. Halloween Ends is a 4 out of 10 for me. Not a really enjoyable experience, with the wrong choice to end this trilogy. The acting is good for the most part. Jamie Lee Curtis is great in all 3 parts, but her character had not much to do until the last 30 minutes. The score is great again, but to say this film was a letdown is an understatement. The end of the trilogy received 40% on Rotten Tomatoes with an audience score of 57. It made $105 million on a $33 million budget. So the trilogy made less money as it went on throughout, had a higher budget each film, and had lower audience scores. What's your favourite out of the 3 films? Do you agree with my thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Take care.